Hey guys, David Franklin here with Cartersville Uncut. Sitting down talking with Dr. Marc Feuerbach, who is the superintendent for Cartersville City Schools. Marc, we did this 7 years ago when it was your first year. You're an old, experienced guy, so how's it going, man?
I don't know about old and experienced, but I definitely feel old or older. It's hard to believe 7 years has gone by this fast. We moved here, I guess now 10 years ago. My kids were young, second grade and pre-K, and now they are ninth grade and 12th grade. So definitely has gone by fast. I've enjoyed every minute of it and looking forward to the school year.
So listen, man, you just started school. Your quick read on how are things going?
Yeah, it's one of those things, it's always hard to judge. You're always looking at ways to get better. So At the end of every day, it's like, well, we did this, but we could have done this, and always self-critiquing ourselves. So you're always going to have that. But overall, it's been a great start to the year. It really has. There's been a vibe, an excitement that we saw, in pre-planning that has carried us, through here almost the whole entire month of August. Our enrollment's up again.
So what is enrollment now?
Yeah, so as of yesterday, it was 4,690, so just 10 shy of 4,700. I thought, my prediction was that we'd start between 46 and 4,700. Didn't think we'd be already knocking at 4,700 at the end of August, but we are. We finished last school year about 100 more with 100 more students, 95 to be exact, than what we started the year last year, and we're trending, I think, about 30 more right now than when we finished the year in May. And we're still having kids, enroll daily. And that's just, a sign of an area that's continuing to grow. That pace is not something that concerns us or scares us. We prepared for it over the last few years. This is our first year of not having any major building projects.
Listen, I was going to ask you, are you glad that you're not opening the school?
That is probably the greatest thing right now. And again, it's easy for me to say. I wasn't living in it daily. But what our folks did, from our high school, remodeling and additions to our elementary school remodel to our primary school, just complete new build. Everyone did such a phenomenal job of getting us where we needed to be, and we're there now. So we have some room preparing for what was, what we expect to come, and the growth that we're experiencing. If that's the kind of pace that we see it, we're good to go. But like I said, almost 4,700 students to start the school year, and it's been a great start to the school year.
Well, good for y'all, and I know you're glad that you're not opening a school up on top of a hill.
Yeah, we are. But it's funny. I was talking to someone the other day, talking about last year compared to this year in that school, and we had our challenges. From construction challenges to parking challenges to just even driving, and getting in and out, challenges.
Widening of Old Alabama.
The widening of Old Alabama, which is still occurring, but traffic, got better a little quicker, this year, and last year wasn't perfect, and we live in a world, I think, that everybody wants perfection every day. We strive for perfection, but it doesn't exist. It never is going to. But this year, and it was a parent who was sharing with me how much smoother things have been, even just from a traffic standpoint. And what I articulated with this parent, what I try to share last year with our team as compared to this year, is we did the best we could every day last year, and we will continue to do the best we can every day this year. The difference is last year in that building, and this is true for any new building, last year, every day was a first day. Every single day. And even the last school day of last year was the last day of school in that building. Well, now we are living in a year where we've already had our first of every day. And so we have some experience under our belt, and things are going really well.
Marc, I can just affirm that because, guys, I've been in different places and we moved into new buildings. And it just takes a year to just get through stuff. Listen, we're going to come back. I'm going to dig deeper into kind of the makeup of the kids you're seeing coming in and moving in. We talked about that last time, and so I want to kind of revisit that. So guys, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Hey guys, David Franklin back here with Dr. Marc Feuerbach. And Marc, one of the things that I know and have watched you, and we've talked before, but I know that you always kind of have a focus of trying to get better. So what's your focus this year in Cartersville City School System? How are you I mean, what are you pushing people toward?
Yeah, it's one of the things we are focused on always getting better. I feel like sometimes people will have specifics, of these 5 things or these 10 things, and those are important, but at the end of the day, we're focused on just how are we giving our kids great experiences and how are they getting better every day. That is our ultimate hope. Specifically diving into that, we have a serious focus in literacy going on right now. We're kind of launching not a new literacy plan, but we're bringing everything that we've done together. And so, especially we're starting in our, lower grades, K to 5, and then we will expand that. But that is a serious focus this year.
Let me just interrupt you right here. Okay, guys, growing readers, and it is incredibly important that kids learn to read early with sight words and all those kind of things. Mark, this was a shock to me in 2017 when I found out the importance of 3rd grade reading proficiency. Yeah. And guys, they even do future projections on how many jail cells to build. The government does, based on 3rd grade reading proficiency, because a kid that gets behind gets discouraged. And so we need your help to go in and listen. The school's got a way that you can sign up. It is the coolest thing, because I've done it, to go in and just sit down with a kid and help them. The teacher will help you know what to do. It's fun. Yeah. So that's a free publicity piece. So every one of you, the county's doing it, the city's doing it. It's that important. And if we're going to have a Bartow County that flourishes, reading and literacy is absolutely huge.
That's right. We're always looking for volunteers, and we'll find a way to plug you in. But, literacy has always been a focus, but, really looking at everything that we've done and bringing it all together. We're continuing to see growth in our reading scores and following our cohort of children and seeing how they're increasing. And so we're seeing positive trends, but that is a focus. Capturing kids' hearts is always a focus. But really, how are we engaging our kids in their learning experiences, even outside the classroom? Within the classroom, outside the classroom. So that might be in the classroom and talking with our kids, and how are they engaging in the unit that they're taking part in, and what did they enjoy the most about it, and how is some of that hands-on project-based learning. We've got a really big STEAM push right now and focus in all 4 of our schools. We're launching
Wait, you got to tell them what STEAM is.
I'm sorry, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics.
Guys, listen, they're having to do stuff in school that maybe they didn't have to do when I was in another century, like some of y'all. So anyway,
and it's one of those things where that is a focus, because that's the world we live in. Those areas are very important. At the high school, we're looking at launching a STEAM academy, kind of a school within a school, approach. So there's lots of different things going on. But also, even outside the classroom, how are we bringing in community members and business and industry to speak to our kids and talking about these real life experiences? And then as a child gets older, how are we, really plugging them into work-based learning opportunities and working in these industries? Our work-based learning numbers are up at the high school this year. Kids are finding more and more value, in that. We actually have 3 students from the high school working at our central office this semester. 2 in our communications department. 1 is working here in our front office. Just getting work experience, and so we're really excited about that.
Mark, that whole work experience thing. Guys, some of us grew up with jobs when we were 12, 14, stuff like that. They don't let you do some of the stuff that I did, like working a stockyard when you're 14 years old with a 2,200-pound bull. They don't do that. Yeah. So what you're doing is helping kids find where they're gifted and what they like and what they're good at, so that you can match work and the whole community, and which is essential today. Correct. Listen, Mark, when we come back, we're going to talk about the students that you see coming to you, because they're different than when I came along, or even when you came along. So they come from different nationalities, but they've got different social, emotional stuff going on. I mean, it is crazy. So we'll be right back. And listen, if you're a parent, grandparent, stay with us, because we're going to talk about some stuff that every parent and grandparent needs to hear. We'll be right back. Hey guys, David Franklin here, continuing our conversation with Superintendent for Cartersville City Schools. This is Marc Feuerbach. Mark, we talked about just kids that you're having to deal with. One section is all the new people coming in. So you mentioned growth, you continue to grow. So what do you see growth-wise?
Yeah, no, we love it. We love when new families and new kids are moving to the area. We love welcoming them, embracing them. And, it's one of those things where, our enrollment's up. And so I get asked that question a lot of, well, where are the students coming from? I think sometimes we think, well, they're all coming from, a specific city or a specific state or a specific country. And my answer is they're coming from everywhere. There really is no rhyme or reason to a specific part of the country or, a specific city or town that people are coming from. I think we are in an area that is growing. And so, there are opportunities, job opportunities, whether it's directly here in Cartersville, Bartow County, or just outside. And so people are moving here for those opportunities. We ask a lot, when people are moving here, well, why Cartersville? And they say, we hear this a lot, well, I've taken a job in this city, but we've heard, Cartersville is a great place to, raise your kids and to live. And so, that's why we chose here. And so we're definitely seeing that, but there is no, rhyme or reason to it. If you look at kind of data of where people are moving throughout this country, you see a lot moving to the southeast. That's the facts if you follow the data. And so we know that we're going to continue to see these enrollment increases. We welcome the families and kids coming, and we're just excited to get to know them a little more.
Mark, and I would just reaffirm that people coming from all over, this is the biggest migration of people in America and in the world in my lifetime, for sure. And we just see this migration. I think a lot of people don't understand, Mark, Interstate 75, that is a huge kind of growth stimulus here.
Yeah.
And then North Georgia, it's not just here, Calhoun, Dalton, all over North Georgia, people are growing.
Yeah.
How many people from other countries we see them from all other states, and what about other countries?
Yeah, no, we're seeing that too. And it's not just one country. It's not just one continent. It's different places. And so again, we have our services to welcome those families, get to know them a little more, help learn English, help them learn English, and vice versa. How are we learning from them? And so we'll have different family opportunity nights for our students who are served through our ESOL programs throughout the school year. And
English as a
second language,
yeah.
Yes, sir. And again, just really looking forward to meeting our new families who come and join us.
Mark, one of the things that, like where I grew up, we didn't have anybody moving in. We didn't have to think like this. But y'all are having to do things and think, okay, how do we help every student flourish?
That's right.
And so y'all have initiatives to engage those families. That's the kind of stuff that I just applaud, the school system for doing stuff like that, because if we're going to have a flourishing community, you got to have flourishing humans.
My mom was born in Cuba, and she immigrated, I think she was 9 years old, and landed in Topeka, Kansas. And
oh my gosh.
She was in third grade, and she remembers meeting her teacher at the door, and they basically gave my mom a Spanish-American dictionary, and the teacher had one too. And that's how my mom learned. She and her sister, I believe her brother was school age at the time too. They were the only ones who spoke Spanish in the school. And that's how she learned, and influenced her in such a way that she became a lifelong teacher and retired a few years ago. But it's one of those things where, especially when there's a language barrier and someone's new here, that can be intimidating for someone.
It is.
And so how do we partner not just with the child? How do we not just work with the child, but how do we partner with the family, build trust, and really provide a great experience to not just the child, but to the entire family? And
I just applaud you. Guys, some of y'all have lived here all your life, but I'm a guy, Mark, that moved in the 4th grade and then started my junior year, which was really, really hard. But then I moved to Bartow County just like you moved here. People here have welcomed us. Let me encourage you to go out of your way to find new people and welcome them here and connect with them. They may be neighbors. Go meet your neighbors.
Yeah.
And just connect, because people are people
Yep.
from wherever they are. So listen, when we come back, and we're going to delve in and go deep on something, Mark, it's not just nationalities, but you're dealing with students, and each generation is different. And this is where you and I we're reading the same book, guys, we're going to talk about where kids are socially and relationally with each other and with themselves. Because we have seen some depression and stuff like that go up, anxiety. The school's working at taking steps to reduce that, because that's essential. So we're going to come back and have a deep dive for parents and grandparents on what's really going on with Gen Z. Hey guys, once again, David Franklin here with Cartersville Uncut, getting to sit down and talk with Superintendent Marc Feuerbach of the Cartersville City School System. And Marc, you've got a senior in high school and a freshman. Yeah. Listen, you know, once that senior graduates, you kind of change and turn into a middle-aged guy. Yeah. I'm just saying that. But you and I have had multiple conversations, not just for Cartersville Uncut, really trying to stay abreast of the culture. And as a superintendent, you have to read every generation, because teachers have to teach, and different generations learn differently. I mean, attention span is down than when I was a kid. Yeah. But you're doing stuff capturing kids' heart. You're doing stuff to not just teach them, but to engage them relationally, because we have seen, the statistics are very clear, anxiety, depression, all kind of numbers have gone up. So talk to me about what y'all are doing. And then you started reading the book, Anxious Generation, and I'm reading that book. And so, man, we're trying to stay abreast. So, so talk to us about, what do you see with a kid in high school, middle school student today?
Well, even before I go there, you have to understand, right now we have two generations of kids in schools, Generation Z and Generation Alpha. But you probably have almost maybe 6 generations of people within schools. The organization that we refer to as school, as education, I mean, if you have a 80-year-old volunteer down to a 5-year-old, you know, who's in kindergarten, or a 6-year-old who's in kindergarten, you have multiple generations who all operate a little differently and all think a little differently and all have experienced life a little differently. And that's a challenge in and of itself, because, you know, Generation Alpha we may see, you know, these certain things, features or attributes or actions, attitudes, whatever you want to call it, within one generation, but you have this generation who's working with a child. So you have to really be cognizant of that when you're working in a school setting. You know, and so some of these things that we're hearing today, you hear a lot about, you know, social and emotional learning. You hear a lot about you know, mental, you know, social emotional awareness, depression, etc., amongst kids. And it's true. It's real. Sometimes people want to say, well, you know, it's not the same. It is the same. But you have to understand that these children, especially, you know, Generation Z and Generation Alpha, have grown up differently. You know, some of these kids have grown up, they don't know a world without a device in a hand. They don't know a world without technology. And so this
has a huge impact on this generation.
It does. And so, you know, and if you begin looking at the data, even outside of America and other countries with these generations, you're seeing similar trends of depression, of anxiety, you know, et cetera. And so, you know, one thing that, you know, I've said is this year we're really pushing 3 C's in this district: content, customization, and culture. It's my, you know, opinion that those 3 things are what everything needs to fall under.
All right, let's say them again.
Content, customization, and culture. And basically content. What are the standards that we're teaching our kids? What is expected of us from the Department of Education in the state of Georgia? What are we teaching? We have to know our content. And we have to be able to really get into those essential standards and teach our kids the content. You know, customization. How are we customizing in a way to meet the needs of our kids? And then culture. How are we building, you know, a culture within our classrooms, within our hallways, within our school buildings where kids, you know, are growing and thriving. And everything that we talk about, even if it's a program, how do those programs fall under content, customization, and culture? Because those things are what are needed today to continue to engage, you know, our kids and frankly our adults, you know, in the learning process. And so, you know, how do we then partner with our families? I had a conversation in a group setting the other day, you know, sharing with parents in there that were business folks, and sharing that this can't be a school alone, you know, issue. We got to partner with our community, with our families, to continue to, you know, not fight through this, but understand it and have awareness of it. And then how are we, you know, dealing with it? You and I have talked before, and I say this all the time. We're living in a world that the pace is too fast for human beings, if you want my personal opinion. And there's something every day. There's an email every minute. It's a pace that we can't keep up with. And so how are we creating an environment where we could sometimes take a deep breath and, you know, and scaffold things and put things and chunk them in a way where we can, you know, knock everything that we need to, you know, knock out. So,
or real quick, parents and grandparents, what would you say, because the Gen Z is different, a couple of thoughts on a parent or grandparent, how can they connect better with their kid?
Yeah, biggest thing to me is set aside time to have conversations, to you may not be able to have dinner every night together. That may not happen, but can we do it once a week? If it's a grandparent who lives somewhere else, or every other week, can we get together and then think about the questions you're going to ask? It's not about what's being said. I tell people all the time, in conversations, this is about the question being asked so you can lean in to learn to listen. You're not going to, your grandchild may not see the world the same way you see the world, but how do we ask questions of one another where we can lean in and listen to understand one another?
Guys, that idea of asking questions, don't ask this question, do you have a good day today? Because they're going to say yes or no. Don't ask a yes or no question. Ask the thing, tell me something good that happened today. Tell me something that you're celebrating. We started doing that. They did it at the chamber the other day, at the chamber, but guys, those kind of things, connecting with each other of every generation is really important. Yeah. Listen, we got to close this, but Mark, that anxious generation, I've been encouraging a bunch of people to read that. I'm giving it to my adult children for Christmas. Yeah. And I mean, it is profound. So guys, you can go look at that. There's a lot of resources out there. We're going to come back, wrap this thing up. But guys, we got to be more intentional connecting as parents and grandparents. We'll be back. Hey guys, just wrapping it up. And Mark, always great to talk to you. And I want you to know how much I appreciate, and we as a community appreciate, your push for never being satisfied. So last thoughts you want to give to Cartersville Uncut, man?
Yeah, no, it's always great seeing you. Appreciate just talking with you and getting the ability to share. We're looking forward to a great school year. If we can do anything to serve you, don't hesitate to let us know. If you want a volunteer opportunity, we're always, you call me. I'll get you connected with the right people. We do strive every day to be the best we can be. We're not perfect though, and sometimes we may not hit the mark exactly how we want to, but how do we learn from that experience and how do we get better? That's what I share with our folks all the time, and it's just that constant pursuit of becoming the best learning organization we can be. We're all learning together, we're all growing together, we're all problem solving together. We're never going to get there. You're never going to get there. People say, well, how do you know when you've gotten there? When we know that we've arrived, we probably are starting to work our way backwards. So we're always striving to be the best learning organization we can become so that we're giving our teachers and our kids the best experiences possible.
Good for y'all, Mark. And guys, we're in the biggest change things are changing faster. And to know that the school system, and I see it with businesses, our whole community, we've got to grow together and never stop growing, because once you stop growing, you're in trouble. Yeah. Guys, thank you for joining Cartersville Uncut. Mark, thank you, man.
Thank you.
It's always an honor. Thank you for what you do in our community. Guys, go make a difference. Connect with somebody and make a difference.